Well, hello everyone. It's Star Talk, and I'm recording on May 5th because I'm going to be out of town tomorrow on May 6th. So that's why this session is pre-recorded. So it will also be just a little shorter because we're not having check-in, and it's also a very small group. I think most people, like the live sessions better. So anyway, it's a very small group, so it'll be just a little shorter. So, and just so you know, I'm going to be in Sedona. I think I talked about it the last time if you were here. With Courtney, we're going to be going to a workshop with Freddie Silva. It's called A Course in Temple Making, and is all about the crystal and grid of Mother Earth, the energy ley lines, and how to work with those ley lines in your own space, whether it's in your home or your land. Or so I'm really excited to learn about this. So all right, so I'm going to show you the chart first. I'm going to screen share. We're going to look at the okay, so here is the Taurus new moon. I'm also going to be talking about the full moon lunar total solar eclipse that is happening on May 26th. But first, let's just talk about this. There's several things we're going to be talking about, but the first thing we're going to be talking about is the Taurus new moon. And here the moon is at 21 degrees 17 minutes of Taurus, and it occurs on May 11th at 11:58 p.m. Pacific time. This new moon is it's activated by all of the outer planets, which makes it very interesting. It's in a trine to Pluto. It's in a square to Jupiter, kind of a wide square, but it is there. It's in a wide square to Saturn. It's sextile Neptune, and it's widely conjunct Uranus. Okay, and it's also, but it's in a tight conjunction with Black Moon Lilith, and we're going to be talking about what all of that means. The other events that we're going to be talking about that are happening in the month of May is Jupiter. You can see it's at 29 degrees of Aquarius right now. But on May 13th, Jupiter moves into Pisces, where it will be for about 2.5 months. And Jupiter used to be the ruler of Pisces before Neptune was discovered. So Jupiter really likes being in that sign, and it brings a lot of blessings. We're going to be talking about the Uranus Saturn square. Here's Uranus at 11 degrees of Taurus in a square with Saturn at 13 degrees of Aquarius. And they're in a square all year, so this is an ongoing aspect. Mercury goes retrograde on, what day is that? I have it listed. I think it's, darn it, I don't remember right off. May 28th, I believe. Let's see, what day is it? No, it's May 29th. Yeah, it's May 29th at, oh, what is that? 3:35 p.m. Pacific time. And then we have the full moon, the total full moon lunar eclipse happening on May 26th. And we'll talk just a little bit about what that means. Okay, and you know what? I unfortunately forgot to pull up that chart. So anyway, so this is the chart I will be using. Okay, all right. So let's go back to what is happening now. Well, let's see here. Stop screen share. Okay, great. All right. So what is happening now? What is the meaning of all of this? So like I said, the new moon in Taurus happens at 22 degrees of Taurus on May 11th at 11:58 p.m. a.m. Pacific time. And so Taurus, Taurus is the sign of the Great Mother. Taurus is the sign of Mother Earth, put it that way. There's many signs, there's many energies that are associated with the Great Mother. And Taurus is the one most associated in her form as Mother Earth. Taurus is also ruled by the great goddess Venus. And it's all about beauty and comfort and pleasure in Taurus. And today is May 5th. As someone pointed out, it's a 555. It's always May 5th, but 2021 adds up to 5. And so they're calling this the 555 portal. And the 555 portal, and 5 is all about change. If you know anything about numerology and the tarot, you know, all of the 5 cards in the tarot are about change. And we are in the midst of change. And 5 also represents the human being. You know, it's the 5-pointed pentacle. And so, but on this day of 555 is also the astrological Beltane. We are at 15 degrees of Taurus, and that is the cross quarter day. Um, it's the exact midpoint between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. Okay, so 15 degrees of all of the fixed signs is the exact midpoint, and it's a portal, it's an opening, it's a gateway, it's a doorway. Okay, and so what does Taurus mean? Well, first and foremost, as I said, it's associated with Mother Earth and Venus. And I feel like in these uncertain and kind of crazy times, Taurus is saying is come back to Mother Nature. She can hold you. Find your comfort and your solace in Mother Nature. And that it is Mother Nature that will heal us. There's a card in a deck that I have that I just recently drew, and it was called Surrender to the Sweetness. And I feel like that's what this is saying. Surrender to the sweetness of beauty and the sweetness of nature and the sweetness of life, because that is truly what will heal us and will help us move through these challenging times. It's time to slow down. It's time to be present. You know, we're in the most beautiful time of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere. Go outside. Here's a beautiful prayer from Maria Sabina. I don't know if any of you know her, but she was a curandera from Mexico, and she is the one who basically introduced the Niños Santos, the little children, or the psilocybin magic mushrooms to the Western world. Well, to North America, put it that way. You know, there's a long tradition in Mexico, and she was the one who opened that doorway to, let's say, to more of the Western civilization here in North America. And here's what she says. I love this. Just heal yourself with the light of the sun and the rays of the moon, with the sound of the river and the waterfall, with the swaying of the sea and the fluttering of birds. Heal yourself with mint, neem, and eucalyptus. Sweeten with lavender, rosemary, and chamomile. Hug yourself with the cocoa bean and a hint of cinnamon. Put love in tea instead of sugar, and drink it looking at the stars. Isn't that beautiful? Heal yourself with the kisses that the wind gives you and the hugs of the rain. Stand strong with your bare feet on the ground and with everything that comes from it. Be smarter every day by listening to your intuition, looking at the world with your forehead. Jump, dance, sing, so that you live happier. Heal yourself with beautiful love, and always remember, you are the medicine. Remember that you are the medicine. You know what is best for you. And when you get quiet and sit with Mother Earth and sit with her beauty and sit with the stars and all of the fruits of Mother Nature, you know what is best for you. Your inner guidance will lead you, but you have to get still and quiet. And that's why Taurus is so much about slowing down and being in the present moment. And especially being in the present moment outdoors. Take the time. It's worth it. This is a time of self-care. Yes, we're all busy, but Mother Nature is calling us. She is the way. She is the one who will show us the way forward if we take the time to sit on her, listen, and be still. Taurus reminds us of the Well, not reminds us. Taurus invites us to enjoy the senses of the body. What tastes good, feels good, smells good. Sink into it. Allow yourself this luxury and this pleasure because you need it. We all need it. We all need to remember the sweetness of life and not get caught up in the storm. And Taurus is that part of us as well that is about being the tree in the storm, whose roots go deep down into the earth as the storm swirls around, but doesn't move. Okay, the storm is swirling. There's no question about it. Taurus doesn't say our lives will be simple. Taurus says that we need to simplify our lives and find our place of inner peace, and is surrender to the sweetness of life and surrender to our own body instinct and wisdom. Taurus is about comfort and security, and that's more the shadow side. It's shadow and not. Okay, it's both. Um, and I love this, and I'm going to see if I can show it to you. See if if it will show up on my screen. Oh, it's gone, so it's not there. All right. But I found a beautiful meme online that said, "Unplug from the drama, recharge with the mama." And I just love that. That's, it's unplugged from the drama. It's as simple as it is. That's Taurus. Unplug from the drama, go outside and recharge with mama. Okay. Now, of course, there are teachings. That's the beauty. That's the gift of the Taurus moon. Okay. It is conjunct Black Moon Lilith and trine Pluto. And so that's usually where the teachings are. Pluto's always a teaching, even in a trine. And Black Moon Lilith, if you don't know who she is, well, she represents two things. One, the Black Moon, the dark side of the moon. So it would be the dark side of Taurus. Okay. And she also represents a place of self-empowerment. Lilith is like the Middle Eastern version of Kali. She comes in with the sword of truth. And so I feel like what she is saying here is two things. One, it is bringing to the surface any place where we're holding body shame. And in a trine with Pluto, Pluto's in Capricorn, and body shame is very much a patriarchal malady, put it that way. I would say, it is that piece that, of the original sin that tells us there's something innately wrong with us. And in Taurus, it's about the body. Being in a body is, and especially in a woman's body, the innate shame of being in a woman's body. There's a gateway to healing. Pluto brings healing. It brings soul healing. So there is an opening. And as I have a friend who's a healer who says, shame is the gateway. Once you can really open that door of shame and feel it and move through it, when you feel it, you move through it by feeling it. Okay. And then letting it go, recognizing this is conditioning, that our bodies are beautiful as they are. We don't have to change them in any way. Okay. That they are a gift from the Great Mother. They are a gift from Mother Earth. Okay. And our body is a temple, and it's a temple of love. And it holds our spirit, and the other piece is about body sovereignty. And this is where Lilith comes in with the sword of truth and says, you own your body. No one owns your body but you, not your partner, not the church, not the state, not your family, that you were given this body from Mother Earth to care for. It is your responsibility. And trine Pluto was saying, trust your instincts. Okay. It is the voice of the soul calling. Trust your instincts. And in Taurus, it's so much about body choice. We've got so much of the fear going around right now is around the body, and fears of illness and fears, it's just constant 24/7 nonstop. Be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. And Pluto says for too long, we have given away our body sovereignty to others, to outside authorities. Okay. I work in healthcare. I've been in healthcare for 40 years. And one thing I have come to learn, there's no silver bullet for anyone. There's no one size fits all. And that each person has to follow their own inner guidance and instincts. Medical authorities can give you their opinion, but that doesn't make it true for you. Okay, you have to run it through your own inner guidance, because medical authorities are often wrong. No one knows what is in someone else's highest good, you know. And as we know, science continually changes. Just because something is true now doesn't mean, or that we believe it to be true, doesn't mean that it's the whole truth or even is the truth, but your body knows what is good for you. Okay. And so I'm feeling like this is it's a reconnection with our own body wisdom and instinct. Okay. Because Pluto always shows us where we are disempowered so that we can make different choices. And the other place of disempowerment that it's bringing to the surface is making choices um, out of a need for security and comfort. Taurus is so much about, Taurus does not like change. Taurus likes things to stay the same. And many people are making choices believing that these disempowering choices will um, make everything normal again, but that's not what's going to happen. We are moving into another paradigm. The old paradigm is collapsing, and we need to start making choices in alignment with that vibration and with that energy, not with the old, because we're not going to fix it. Okay, it's not happening. So the other thing I wanted to say is this moon is also in a sextile to Neptune, which is once again bringing back that sweetness, that holiness, that sacredness. And so it's about that, reclaiming that your body is a temple, letting the shame fall away, letting anything that is disempowering around your body fall away, and know that your body is a sacred temple. And to also let Mother Earth hold you. She is here. She is holding us. And I read another really beautiful quote that I want to share with you. And it came from John Muir. And he was talking about, it was actually, it was a quote where he was talking about, he disliked the word hiking, that he liked to use the word saunter, that sauntering in nature is what we need to do to be able to slow down and just, really take her in. And he said the word saunter. Actually, it's a medieval term that pilgrims to the Holy Land, when people would ask them what they were doing, they said they would reply, "A la centre." I'm sure that's French, but it's not, or Latin. Um, but what it meant was to the Holy Land. And the word saunter came out of that. So sauntering means that we're going to the Holy Land, and Mother Earth is our Holy Land. She's holy everywhere. And to take her in and breathe her and not rush through her. Okay. And the second thing is to trust in the divine intelligence of Mother Earth, that she knows that everything is as it should be, even though it doesn't seem like it. It's hard to know, that to trust her divine intelligence. Now, we also have the planet Uranus conjunct this new moon. And Uranus represents what we call the divine mind, or the divine intelligence of the universe. And so it's the order of the universe. And in Taurus, it's the divine intelligence of nature. And we know that nature has a divine intelligence. Any scientist can show you the geometric patterns that all of life is shaped on. That they have shapes. And in even, what is it, in herbalism, um, what is it called? It's where there is, let's just say, like kidney beans, they're shaped like a kidney. So we know that they're good for your kidneys. Okay. Walnuts are shaped like a brain. And so we know that they are good for your brain. And to trust Mother Nature, trust her divine intelligence for healing, everything from the earth, as well as being out in Mother Nature in her divine intelligence, and to ground yourself in her intelligence and on the earth. And to talk about grounding, it's certainly a time to be walking with your feet on the ground. Have your feet on the ground, go barefoot as much as possible. Uh, there she has a field, and what is it? We get ions from the earth when we stand on her, which are healing. You know, Mother Earth can heal us. And when we trust in the divine intelligence of nature, we can release worry and be grounded in her love. And with that love comes inner peace. But we also know that Mother Earth is shifting into higher levels of consciousness, and we need to be aligned with her. And so it's so important to be aligned with the frequency of Mother Earth right now as she is making these changes, as she is moving into higher dimensions, because we, like I said, we are going with her, and we need to be in her same resonant field with our heart and mind aligned with the frequency of Mother Earth, which is the frequency of love. And anything that is, because the truth is, anything that is not aligned with Mother Earth will fall away in from Mother Earth. And as we are aligned with her, there are things in our lives that are not aligned with Mother Earth that will fall away. We might be in a time where we're losing people in our lives. We're losing jobs or things that are no longer in alignment with who we are. And to know that that is where we need to be. And to also know that Uranus in Taurus, so Taurus is the sign most that dislikes change the most and likes comfort the most. And Uranus is the one that shakes things up. And so Uranus and Taurus is absolutely shaking us all out, shaking us up out of our comfort zone. And it is to remember, it is not the change that is painful. It is our resistance to change that is painful. Change is not good or bad. It's just how it feels and how much it scares us. Okay. But we are moving into a different paradigm. And of course, Uranus and Taurus is always about earth changes. And there's always that possibility for, weather incidents to happen, whether it be earthquakes, whether it be, and Uranus and Taurus, I think, is very much about earthquakes. And Uranus conjunct this sun, conjunct the new moon, we might find in this next day, 30-day cycle, that there are some earthquakes happening in different places around the earth, as well as storms, because Uranus is in a square to Saturn in Aquarius, and so that's air, and that's a lot of stormy weather. Okay, and so that also brings us into the Uranus-Saturn square that is happening for all of 2021 and part of 2022, which means many things. And one of the most important, I think, is one of the things that I think is the most important is, Saturn is about mastery. When Saturn comes along, we've got some major tests happening around some type of soul mastery. And Uranus is about frequency and vibration. And so I feel like it's saying it's about becoming masters of our own vibration. What that means is that it happens on many levels. It's the food we eat. It's the it's about staying in a higher vibration and what that takes. And the first thing, to me, it always says, is about being aware of our own triggers, knowing when we are triggered and knowing that it is our stuff that is being activated, and to get clear on what that is so that we can breathe and move that energy through us and make a different choice once we become aware of it. And I had to take just a minute break there. So masters of our own vibration and frequency, first off, is about being aware of our own triggers. It's our own inner work. That's really the key. It's always about our own inner work. before so we always have a double mission, our own inner work and then our collective mission of what we've actually come to do. And so I feel like this, as we're moving as we are attempting to move into these higher vibrational frequencies, it all starts from within. The world is created from the inside out. And then, of course, it's all of the other things, of the food we eat, the water we drink, all the ways we treat our body. And of course, being out in Mother Nature, being with her, just being with her will raise our frequency, because we do want to raise it to a place of joy, because that is the highest frequency. And this time of Taurus, and pleasure and caring, doing self-care, that can all bring joy. And Taurus is also about music. I didn't talk about that, but yes, listening to music that is up a high vibrational frequency. All of the ways that we can do that. And so when we surrender to the sweetness of life, we raise, in this new moon in Taurus is a way to raise our vibration. And it's easy and it's fun. And it's to just let all that shit go. Yeah, just let it go. And to know that our bodies are actually a natural soft technology where divine intelligence rules, because Saturn Uranus is about our battle with technology as well. It's the man-made technology versus natural technology, and our bodies, like Greg Braden says, that they are a natural soft technology, and that we are still just learning all of their capabilities. Saturn Uranus is very much about the old versus the new. And it's resistance and dissent versus the status quo. The old paradigm is collapsing. There is a new vibration, frequency, and consciousness coming in. And, but that doesn't mean we have to throw out everything from the old, because there's actually a lot of ancient wisdom that does want to come forward. But it's about releasing the old paradigm, is what it is, that no longer serves us. And I just want to share that, in my own astrology community, there's a battle going on between the old astrologers and the new astrologers, and it's really interesting. I'm watching it. And many of the older astrologers just aren't getting the new paradigm. They're saying they do, but they don't. They're really holding on. And the new younger people coming in aren't particularly respectful to people that have really worked a lot. And even if they can't let go, they have some real foundations of some really of wisdom built in there. So I'm seeing, and a square is always about the integration. First, it comes in as a challenge, kind of like butting heads, but then you work it out, and so it's the integration of the old and the new. And the truth of it is, it's about remembering. That's what a lot of spiritual teachers are saying. This is actually a time of remembering what we used to know and bringing it forward. Okay. And I love, oh yes, and just to know that it is hard to hold a high vibration in the midst of a collapsing paradigm. This is the test. This is what I said. This is the spiritual mastery test of how do you hold a high vibration in the midst of a collapsing paradigm, and to know that you always have free will choice no matter what, and you can choose love over fear. I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard. And this is the test of spiritual mastery that we are going through. Okay. And Socrates has a great quote, that says, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but building the new." Okay. All right. Now, just a few more things. Jupiter, transiting Jupiter is at 29 degrees of Aquarius. It's going into Pisces. And the 29th degree of any sign is auspicious. We call that auspicious. There is a teaching, a very important teaching here that needs to happen. Now, I want to say this: Jupiter is going to go, it's only in Pisces for a short time. It goes into Pisces on May 13th. It's there for 2.5 months and then returns to Aquarius. So we'll have plenty of time to learn this 29th degree teaching. But I want to say is Jupiter in Aquarius is very much about being a visionary, having faith in a new future for humanity, and a heart chakra activation. And I think in these challenging times, it's saying, don't lose your faith. It's coming. Hold that belief, hold the vision, because it's coming. But Jupiter moving into Pisces, Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. And Jupiter and Pisces both, as well as Neptune, and Neptune is also in Pisces. Okay, so Pisces is also a strong energy in May. And, it's about the opening and closing of doors. Like I said, things that are not in alignment with your vibration and the vibration of Mother Earth will fall away, okay, or have that potential to fall away. It's about a spiritual awakening to other realms. But I feel like one of the biggest teachings of Jupiter and Pisces is to remind us that we are never alone. We think we are. Pisces is that part of us that remembers that we are all one, and that it brings in the unconditional love of the universe, okay, and unity consciousness. But I think one of the big things is Jupiter is so much about faith, and to know that we are never alone, and it is time to call in your spirit guides. It is time to call in all of those that are around us to help us make this shift in our own lives and in our world. My own personal belief that works for me, which I'll share with you, and you don't have to believe this, but is that we do live in something similar to a virtual reality, that we slip on these skins here and we are in a drama. We are in a drama of Earth School where we have lots of teachings, but there's so much more. And we are never alone. And we can call on help whenever we need it, and we need it now. And so to call it in. And Jupiter, like I said, is about unity consciousness, which is the unconditional love of the universe and remembering who we are. And to also know that of this virtual reality life, nothing will remain but what was in our heart. And that's always the teaching, is what is in our heart, and having our heart aligned with the cosmos, with Mother Earth, because that's what remains of us, okay? And that we are also in a field of infinite possibility. And that we are creating the world as we go. All right, now just a couple more things, and then I'll get onto your charts. So first off, Mercury is retrograde. It goes retrograde in Gemini from 25 degrees to 16 degrees from May 29th to June 22nd. And I'm going to say all of the general communication warnings are really prevalent now, because Mercury rules Gemini, so it's very strong in there, and Mercury rules communication. So just know that communications will slow down, they may get lost, and to just trust the divine order that things will show up when they need to, and to just slow down, because Mercury goes retrograde when we've gotten ahead of ourselves. Okay. And Taurus is so asking us to slow down. Okay. And we're moving into a time of Mercury saying, slow your mind down. You're moving too fast, and you might make mistakes. And it's not a time to start anything new or to sign contracts if you can keep from it. And then the last thing is, well, the next to last thing is we're having a total full moon lunar eclipse at 6 degrees of Sagittarius on May 26th at 4:15 a.m. Pacific. I'm not yet sure if we can see it here or not, but I will be doing a whole video on this, so you'll hear more about it. And so it's a south node lunar eclipse. And so it's really lighting up the past, okay? And releasing old limiting beliefs. The past is in Sagittarius. Um, excuse me, the Sagittarius has to do with limiting beliefs, and the south node has to do with the past. And the moon, is the repository of all the memories, that the ability that there is a great potential to release old self-limiting beliefs. The north node and the sun are in Gemini. It's opening to the wonder and awe of all possibility. And now the Sabian symbol for this uh, Taurus new moon is really beautiful. And it says, a white dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled waters. Well, I feel like that's exactly where we are, as when we align with Mother Earth and the love of the universe. A white dove represents the Holy Ghost, the Great Spirit. It represents peace. It represents love. And birds are always messengers of spirit. So I feel like this is a message of spirit, saying that as we trust the divine intelligence of Mother Earth and surrender to her sweetness, we are aligned with spirit, fearlessly bringing messages of peace and love to a troubled world. So that's what I see for the month of May. And feel free to contact me with any questions, since this was not interactive. And now I'm going to be looking at your charts. All right. Okay. So I did make a PDF file. All right, so here we are. Who we got first? Myra. All right. Now, Myra, I actually have 2 times for you, and I'm not sure if this is the one with the right time. It didn't really change anything, but I have 11:17 p.m. and I have 11:47 p.m. and I'm not sure which is correct. I've got the 11:17 chart up. It'd be great if you would let me know which is the correct one. Okay. And so what I see for you in the month of May is, first off, okay, so as we know, this inner chart is our chart. This outer chart is what is happening right now, okay? And so the new moon is in Myra's first house at 21 degrees 17 or 20, basically 22, but 21 degrees 17 minutes of Taurus. And so that's in the first house. And so, and it does, I would say it kind of activates your Mars. It's close enough. And so I feel like, so this is absolutely saying to take care of yourself. The first house is so much about the self. Taurus there is saying, take care of yourself, go outside, be in Mother Earth, all of the things we talked about. Allow yourself to relax and slow down, okay? The other thing we have going on for you is we have that that Saturn, Uranus square. Here's Saturn right here at 13 degrees of Aquarius. Uranus at 11 degrees of Taurus. They're making a square. They activate your natal Venus here in the 5th house. Okay, your Venus is at 13 degrees of Leo. Saturn opposes it, Uranus squares it. And so I feel like what this might be saying is the 5th house has to do with creativity, that there is a new creative form wanting to be born from you. Okay. And this Taurus new moon, if you slow down and go sit out in Mother Nature and get downloads, Uranus is also about downloads. We talked about it being the divine mind. Well, it's about the divine intelligence of Mother Earth coming in, wanting to come in. And Saturn is the piece of it that is the opposition that kind of feels like the outside world may be stopping you. And the truth of it is that Saturn can bring fear. There might be something coming in that brings up fear, so you may have to work through that. You may be bringing in, well, how can I support myself with this, when Spirit may be saying it's not time to worry about that, just simply develop what wants to be developed, and to just trust your instincts. This is so much about trusting your own instincts and not any outside authority forces that say you might not do this, you might not be able to do this, whatever it is. But something new wants to be born in you, and Saturn and Uranus are the two planets most associated with as I call it, bringing light into form, creation. Saturn is the hard work. Uranus is the brilliance and the insight and the ideas. And it's also recognizing that everything is made in the quantum field before it manifests fully in physical form. Okay, so spending some time setting intention, dreaming, all of that good stuff. Okay. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, so I think you also have Mercury retrograde is going to come up and oppose your natal Jupiter. So it's a time of visioning. So I think this Mercury retrograde for you is very much not about really doing anything new, but that it is a time of revisioning your work, revisioning what you're doing. Okay, all right. So let's see who's next here. Okay, we've got Courtney. All right, Courtney, what do we got going on for you? Oh, well, this is fun. So Courtney, we've got once again, inner chart is you, outer chart is what is happening now. We've got the sun and moon conjunct here in Taurus, the new moon, and it's in your 9th house and it's conjunct your natal Saturn. Okay, so that's very interesting. So I say that because the 9th house is called the house of expansion of consciousness. And it's often about the natural world and how we expand our consciousness in the natural world. And you're going to be in Sedona, just kind of like right on schedule, where you're supposed to be. And it's conjunct your natal Saturn right here at 21 degrees of Taurus. And I feel like what this might be saying is some awareness and some awakening around some possibly self-limiting beliefs, because it's all, the 9th house is also about our belief systems, and that being out in Mother Nature you might have some real awakenings about some things yes, yeah, okay. And of course, the new moon, as I talked about, is it's like planting the seed or the intention for the next 30 days. So there is an unfolding that happens with the energy of the new moon. So it feels like there's some enlightenment coming around some old beliefs, some old crystallized beliefs that want to be released. All right, let's see what else we got, Courtney, going on. Oh, yes, and we also have Neptune opposite your natal Venus, which is going on this whole year, which is, the gift. It is about taking human love into unconditional love. So the potential to really step in that field of unconditional love is really high. But the other piece is also loving your humanity as much as your divinity, okay? And being able to not be perfect, because as human beings will never be perfect, as spiritual beings we're always perfect. So that paradox living within yourself of knowing that love conquers all, love heals all, and to maybe not get stuck into some Virgo patterns of trying to fix things. And some things just need to be let go. And that is how you step into the unconditional love. But it's a beautiful aspect, and it's a very creative aspect. Okay. And then, of course, you have Pluto trine Pluto from the 5th house. Well, I'm not going to really talk about that because it's not that significant right now. All right, so that's what I see for you, Courtney. Okay, all right. All right, so Kari, what have we got for you? All right, so Kari, what we've got for you here is we've got this new moon here in the 10th house, which is the house of career. So it seems like there's maybe a new direction. It's not a real, it's just a new moon, a 30-day period, but planting a seed of mm, something new in your work. Okay. And let's say this because you've also got Uranus conjunct Chiron, excuse me, not Chiron. You've got Uranus conjunct Hygeia, and Saturn is also conjunct Hygeia here in the 10th house. And so Hygeia is the asteroid of healing. And so once again, it feels like there is a new direction that your work wants to take in relationship to healing. And maybe it's your own healing, whether it's your work or whether it's a combination of your work as well as your own healing. All right. And let's see. And Uranus is trine Pluto. I didn't talk about that. Yeah, okay. And so Pluto's in your second house. It's another one of the work houses. It seems like your work is really wanting to take a new direction. And it might be a surprising direction. And your own healing might take a surprising direction. And Pluto is about soul healing. It's always about soul healing. And Pluto in the second house has a lot to do with self-confidence and self-worth issues. And of course, you were born on that Virgo Pisces axis so strong, and that is the axis of the "Oh Lord, I am not worthy" axis, and that well, and the other piece is the "Oh Lord, I am not worthy." But to also know that it's not just you, it's let's just say when each one of us incarnate, we have our own stuff to work on, and then we also have a collective piece. Okay, so it feels like that might be the collective piece you're working as well. Is that piece of that collective wound of not feeling good enough. Okay, when the truth is, the healing piece is having the confidence in yourself to know that you are worthy, very worthy. Okay, and to heal that. Yeah. And then of course the Virgo's Saturn axis has a lot to do as well with what we call the victim martyr axis, the victim savior axis, because it is such a sensitive axis and it feels the pain of all of the world. So it's so important to know what is yours and what is not yours. That's the key. That's what's wanting to heal here. This is what's really wanting to come up. And as you do that in your own work, you help others do that as well. Okay. All right. Now let's see here. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we're on to vetiver. Okay. So vetiver. So this Taurus new moon is here in the 6th house, house of healing. It's in a square to your natal moon, okay, which is here in the 3rd house. But you also have Neptune opposite Venus, and you have Pluto square Uranus, and you also have this lunar eclipse right on your ascendant descendant line. Okay, so you've got a lot going on here. This is a big 30-day period for you. So the new moon, in a square to your natal moon, and your natal moon is in the 3rd house. I feel like what it's saying, there's a piece here about healing your thoughts. Okay, that there may be some, because the 3rd house is all about our thoughts, how we use our mind, how we perceive the world. And a square is a challenge. So I feel like what this is saying for sure is to get out of your house. We all need to go outside of our house and breathe. We need the air. We need the fresh air. Take off our masks. I mean, they're all saying, I just read a piece in the San Francisco Chronicle today. It's saying, the CDC has said we can take off our masks. We need to take off our masks. And Mother Earth says we need this fresh air. Air is prana and it's life force. And when we're behind a mask, we don't get that. And so it's to go out, to be outdoors, Vetiver. Please go outdoors, lay on the ground, lay on the grass, let the sunlight, lay in the sunlight. This is about healing. It's about healing your emotional body through the natural world, okay? And being aware of your thoughts, because we know our thoughts create, and thoughts create, this are stories. It's about releasing old stories. I feel like this might be what this is saying, that they are still impacting you in some way. Well, we all have stories, but getting and the moon, is mother, and I don't know if you're still having some, but it may be that's what this is about. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is you've got Pluto square Uranus, and Pluto is here in your second house, square your natal Uranus. There's some downloads wanting to come. And I feel like your work really does want to take a new direction. Okay, in a direction that is more authentic and alignment with you. And maybe this time outdoors is part of that, getting some downloads, when you're outdoors. Now, the third thing, of course, when we've also got Neptune opposite Venus. Just like Courtney, you've got the same aspect going on. And so it's about being able to take human love and to raise it to a level of divine love. But the challenge, and this is the challenge, and I should have talked about this with Courtney as well, but I'll just bring it up with you, to both of you. It's about loving our partners for their humanity as well as their divinity. When Neptune comes along, they say no one would ever fall in love without Neptune, okay? Because it really does sprinkle fairy dust and makes everything beautiful. And we can have a tendency to fall in love with love. And the important thing is to be very clear about our partner and who our partner, to love that they aren't perfect. Okay. Like I said, as human beings, we will never be perfect. As spiritual beings, we're always perfect. And to kind of really see how that's working out in your world, but to also, it's also a very creative aspect. And I wonder about your jewelry, if maybe there's your creativity really, and your sprays and of course, this new moon is also in a trine to your natal Venus, right? So yeah, that your creativity really is wanting some time and attention. Okay. And the last thing is this eclipse. So you can't see it on here, but your ascendant is 5 degrees, 22 minutes of Sagittarius. And the eclipse is, I think it's 5 degrees. I don't remember how many minutes, 40 minutes or something. Anyway, it's very close to being exact on your ascendant, and the North Node is on the descendant, and the Sun is on the descendant. So, the ascendant descendant line is the what we call the axis of relationship between self and other. And this eclipse is also conjuncting your natal Neptune. And so Neptune is really active in your chart. So your natal Neptune is activated, and transiting Neptune is activating your natal Venus, which is also about relationship. Okay, so it's being said in two different ways that Neptune kind of brings sometimes a fogginess and an unclarity. And And just simply having Neptune on your ascendant can bring sometimes an inability to clearly see yourself and others. And so I feel like there's, with this eclipse, is coming more clarity. Okay. And kind of and eclipses are harbingers of change. And I know you and your relationship just recently ended. So I don't know if, this is going to bring that relationship back into your life, or you're going to just simply get more clarity around what it was all about, and letting it go, however it is that it works out for you. But it's just saying, it's just kind of really bringing it back in about what is this all about for you. Okay, and getting some clarity. And the other thing I want to say with Neptune, well, Neptune is not clarity, but the eclipses are. um, Neptune is about feeling, and it may not be that. um, So with Neptune, if it feels right, it is right. It's not about logic. It's not about reason. It's just about kind of an inner heart knowing that sometimes you can't explain. And I feel like another piece of this that is also being activated is also saying that maybe it is through your creativity that you will get some clarity as well. Okay. All right. And the last one we have here is Vicky. Okay, so Vicky, what you've got going on. All right, so this new moon is up here in your 10th house. It's in a square to your ascendant and your natal Jupiter. And I kind of feel like what that might be saying is that, for the month of May, you might just simply need to be more visible. Okay, make yourself known in some manner. Put yourself out there. Okay. Now, the bigger thing is that Uranus is conjunct your midheaven and square your natal Chiron, and Saturn is conjunct your natal Chiron and square your midheaven. And so it just feels like there is for some sudden unexpected changes, either in your health and or your career, taking you in another direction, maybe a healing direction. And like I said, when Chiron is involved, there might be a new healing modality show up in your life in a way that you have not, um, that has a twofold purpose. One is to help you facilitate your own healing, as well as a possible new career direction that it wants to take you. And you also have the nodes of the moon. They are flipped. Let's see, the transiting north node is conjunct your south node, and the transiting south node is conjunct your north node. So when the nodes are activated, it's a point of destiny that is activated. And Saturn is actually, trine your south node and trying your south node, sextile your north node most of the year. And so I feel like that is just simply another indication that, well, one is saying there's some self-limiting beliefs that want to be released for you to be able to really step into this new direction that your career wants to take, and your healing. All right, so that's what I see for you. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions, and wishing you all a wonderful month of May, and I will see you in June. Well, yeah, but I will also be putting out a video for the lunar eclipse at the end of May. All right, everyone, have a great month. Bye.